Hey guys, so I haven't made a tutorial in like a really long time, and I thought it would be nice if I made that. So here we go. So first thing you're gonna want to do is just find a song. I'm using this song. So what we want to do first is go to Cobalt, one of the best YouTube downloaders, and make sure you're on audio, and then just click paste. Next, what you want to do is open up FL Studio, and the first thing you want to do is just find your song, drag it in. Now you're going to want to go to the part where the drop is, and you can also zoom in, hold Control and scroll up, and then hold Alt and scroll up, and you'll be able to zoom in and make your things bigger. I usually do things about this big. Alright, so now that I'm at the drop, what you want to do is go to this eraser tool and just cut this, and then go back to here and right click to delete it. And then drag it to the beginning, and then go to the end, the part where you want your intro to end. So the intro should end right here, so I want to go a bit longer so there's like a fade out in the audio. Right here, cut it again, delete this part. Alright, now I'm just going to zoom in so it's only the audio part. And now just double click, you want to make the volume all the way up, right click, and then you want to create an automation clip. Now this is how you change the volume. So we're going to go to the start of the intro, which is right here, and then hold down right click and drag up, and then we can move this one down with left click and just ease it in like this. And then do the same thing for this part. Alright, now we're going to add some effects to make the audio a bit better. So I just make sure to double click this and then X out of that. Now go to the mixer here, and what you want to do is click on this right here, and then right click, and you want to route it to this channel. So now this will only affect the audio. So now you want to right click and go down to filter and find the Fruity Parametric EQ2. Now this is just a little bit of a bass boost for your song, so you just want to drag these things up like this. So next thing you want to add is a reverb, so go over to reverb, add this one. Now this is just preference, but I like to turn mine all the way up and make it a bit more wet. And then of course we have to add the low pass, which is like the muffle sound, so we go to filter, Fruity Low Filter, just drag it to the next slot. Now this, what you want to do is drag these around here, and then just turn the resonance off. And then right click, create automation clips for both of these. Now what you want to do is basically just copy the graph for the volume. So and that should sound like this. Now you can adjust these to how you want them. Alright, so now to save your audio, you're just going to want to go to this at the top, and to your downloads, you're going to want to make sure that it's a .wav file, WAV. Name it whatever you want. I'm going to name it tutorial, because that's what this is. And just start. And now it's done. Now you can open up After Effects. So when you first open up After Effects, you might see something like this. I'm using After Effects 2020 for this tutorial. It shouldn't be much different on any other versions. So what you just want to do is click New Project. And then what I like to do is open up my files and just drag in the audio, the edited one, and then drag it into here. Now what this will do is it'll automatically make it the right length. So now what you want to do is add your beat markers. Now if you have a full-size keyboard like me, it's the star on your number pad, and each time you press it, it will make a marker. If you don't, you have to go to Edit and then change your keyboard shortcut, and it should be Add Layer Marker right here, and you're just going to want to change this to something else that you have on your keyboard. So now what you want to do is play this audio and add a marker on each beat. So now you just want to check over. You can press J and K to move between the keyframes like this, and the markers, and just make sure that they're on beat. Now that our markers are done, press Ctrl S to save your project and just name it whatever you want. Alright, now that we have our audio done, what we want to do is create our text. So what we're going to do is go to the T button at the top here and just click and make your text anything you want. I'm going to do tutorial. You should be able to see yours. Alright, now your font is going to be something weird. So what you want to do is find a good font on your computer, and if you don't have any, you can go in the description for the font and you'll be able to find a good font. So for this tutorial, I will use Top Gun. So what you want to do first is press Ctrl Alt Home on your keyboard, and that will center your anchor point on the text, and then click Align, and you want to go here and here. Now if you don't have any of these windows that I have, go to Window and you should be able to find them here. And if you don't have all these plugins like Textify or Text Exploder or anything that I have here, you can find the link in the description for all my plugins. So first what we're going to do is add some color to this text. So what color I want to make this is like a yellow and blue. So let's just make a new solid by right clicking New Solid. Now you can make it whatever color you want because it's not going to matter. So I'm thinking of going for like a turbulent displace kind of texture. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to add some optical flares, and let's just go to Options, clear all this, and just create a glow and a streak. Go out here. Now I'm gonna do like the text blue. Now make sure this is on transparent. So what I want to do now is just create another one, change the position of this, maybe make a white one. And then what we can do is select all these by holding Shift and click, right click and pre-compose. Make sure it's on the bottom setting right here, and you can name this whatever you want. I'm just going to do like no turb. Now add turbulent displace, and just crank the complexity up. You should get something like this. Maybe make the bottom one on black. There we go. Okay. Now that you have this, you can add another turbulent displace if you want. Change the complexity down. and you can do what you want with this texture. I'm gonna do something like this and hold Alt and evolution and click on evolutions keyframe, and I'm just going to put in this little expression so that this constantly evolves like this. And if it's too fast, I can just make this number lower. And there we go. I think that's good. So now what you want to do is toggle switches / modes if it looks like this, and you want it to have this button right here. Click on that, and what that'll do is it'll make the layer only show on the text, and press S so you can scale this down like that. Now you might want to add some blur effects. And if you see this little window right here pop up, it's the same thing as effects and presets. It's just a plugin that I use. So let's do I'll do vector blur and make this direction fading, and that'll make like a cool thing right there. Scale it up a bit. Select both of these and then pre-compose again. Alright, now that we have this, we can add some layer styles. So the first thing we're going to do is add a stroke. Make sure we're on full quality. Maybe make this 6, depending on the size of your text. The next layer style we want to add is bevel and emboss. Now this just gives your text a cool 3D effect, and you want to change this to chisel hard, and then you're going to want to change the size to 7. And then now we can change these opacities to whatever you want them to be. Alright, now we're going to pre-compose this again. Make sure it's on the second option. Name this layer styles, or whatever you want it to be. Now I'm going to add the echo space effect. Now, for this, we're going to go into setup, make the instances 15, go into repeater. Actually, just click repeat first, and then now make the Y offset 2.5, and you'll get this little thing right here, and then make the scale -0.5. Now, depending on this value right here, it'll be bigger or smaller. So I like it like this. This looks good. So next thing I want to do is add, just right click in any blank space here, and you should be able to add a new layer. Add an adjustment layer, put it under the first one, add hue / saturation. Now this is just going to make the layers under it a bit darker, so I'm going to make this -5, and just duplicate this by pressing Ctrl D and adding it to each layer like this. This is going to make each one slightly darker. And this already looks really nice, but you can make it look even better by making the top one -20. Now we have this one layer that's lighter than all the other ones, and then it also fades out. If this is too dark for you, you can always go back into this composition, make the stroke a bit lighter. That'll make this lighter. Now pre-compose all these down to the main. Pre-compose echo space, doesn't matter how you spell it, you know. Now we want to add a couple last layer styles. We're going to add a stroke if you want, and also an inner glow. Now the inner glow is just a nice thing to have. We want to make this just a blue, same to match the text, and make the size more. I want to make the opacity less, and just mess with some of these settings. Next, you want to change the color of the stroke to a white or a color that's on your text. Now that we have these, you want to pre-compose this again. And then we're going to add warp. Now this is going to look really weird at first. So the first thing you want to do is change this arc to shell lower. And now change the bend to anywhere from -10 to -30, depending on what kind of text style you're making. And this is kind of how you make the Shark FX warp. And then also add vertical distortion, maybe like 10, 20. That'll tilt your text. And then final thing you want to do is press S, and you want to unlink this and just make it a bit taller because the warp distorts it. And then press A for anchor point. You're going to want to get this grid right here to be able to line up your text. You just want to move it down so that your text is centered on your screen. Okay. Now that we have this, we can pre-compose warp. And now we can actually get started with the text animation. So after this, I suggest you turn your quality down because your After Effects will be really slow. So I think first I'm just going to add a little bounce. So this is where one of our first plugins comes into play. So we're just going to make this scale 0, keyframe it. Now press page down 4 times to go ahead 4 frames, or you could just move it ahead 4 frames. Press the keyframe again. Make it 100. Now you're going to want to go to bouncer right here. Change this to scale because this is going to make this a bounce. And the only thing I change on my bounce is I just make the decay to 6. This will just make it bounce. And I'm just going to cut this layer off right here at the beginning by pressing Ctrl-Alt-D, just so it lags a bit less in the beginning. So it's faster to pre-render. That's what this green thing is. That makes it go slow. Alright, now I'm going to do a rotation that is in different sections. So I want to do it over the course of 3 beats. So this first one is going to go like this. And then like this. Make it a 90. And then over the third beat, or actually on the last one, you want to go an extra beat and make it -360. And this will be a full rotation around. Select over all of these and press F9 to add easing to it. Now what you want to do is go to this one, click this graph right here, and you'll see this. Now there's 2 different graphs in After Effects. You have value graph and speed graph. Speed graph is good for rotations. Value graph can be good for many things. So what you want to do is just move these so the peak is on the beat. And you don't want this to be too sharp or it'll not look good. So maybe make this a bit more. Do the same for this one. Right now on this one right here, I'm just going to drag this up a little bit so it doesn't stop moving in between these. And this is still a bit too sharp, so I'm just going to change this. And then I'm also going to add some bounce effects to this one. So just make this 150, why not? Make this like 145. Make this 40. And then make this 60. Make this 100. Maybe I want to do it on this one. Do another rotation right here. Again, don't make it too sharp. This one I'm going to do negative 180. And 0. And then again, not too sharp. Move this up. And then on this last one, we're going to want to make this layer 3D. Go to position, and this is the zoom in effect that I do in every intro. We're going to go to the last beat, negative 2,700. And we're going to want to add easing to this, of course. And we're just going to drag this all the way to the end like this. There we go. Alright, now I usually do my effects next, so I'm going to just show you what I want to do for this intro. So I use S blur mo curves a lot. So S blur mo curves is basically just like transform but better. So first of all, we just want to add reflection on this, and don't change anything except the Z dist and the rotate. So what I want to do is just maybe make this like 0.5, make this, actually no, sorry, 0.75. There we go. And then maybe negative 45 for this. And then go to the end and just make them both how they were originally. So, and then we're going to select one of them, Z dist, and we'll just do that. Rotate, we'll do the same thing. You can also edit both graphs at the same time, and that's nice. But I'm doing them separately just to make it easier on your eyes. I don't want to make any of these easings too sharp, or else they won't look nice. So next I want to do a full screen rotation. Make it go an extra beat as always. And only keyframe rotate. We only need rotate. And we're just going to make this negative 360. And what's nice about blur mo curves is that it actually adds motion blur to these movements if you don't have the plugins for motion blur, or you don't want to use After Effects built-in motion blur. You can use it with this effect. Right, and then I'm just going to copy this because I want to do something like this. We're just going to make this like 2. Alright, and we're just going to remove the keyframes again. Now this time I'm going to change the center XY to the bottom. That way that we can make a cool zoom effect. And we're going to do 45 here. 3, and then we're gonna go to the next frame. We're gonna make it 0, negative 45. Go to the end, make it 1 and 0. Now on this one, it's very important that we use value graph because the easing on these need to be really fast, and you get faster easing on value graph. So just gonna do this. Now the rotate shouldn't be a problem. This you can still leave normal, but I'm still gonna do it in value. Just alright, next I'm just gonna add a fisheye effect. And I'm just going to go back to the speed graph because it's easier to use. Okay, now I think we're done, pretty much done with like rotations and stuff. Right, now that we're done with our text, let's just pre-compose this again and add shine. Make this behind. Make the boost light 1 and the actually maybe 2, and then make this ray length 3. Colorize, just make this like whatever color you feel like. Alright, so now that we have this shine, the texture look pretty nice. If you want to add drop shadow, I have this drop shadow preset, or basically the entire shadows in the middle. You can copy these settings. Just pause here. Now this is the same as the normal drop shadow effect. Okay, time to make the background. I'm going to make this one pretty fast. So first what I'm going to do is add a black solid in the background. Now just going to duplicate that and add some optical flares again. Now this time I'm going to just add a glow. Maybe turn the gamma down a bit. Okay, now I'm going to basically make it flicker with the volume of the beat. So what we're going to do is go to Keyframe Assistant and convert the audio to the keyframes. Now this will just give us an adjustment layer. We'll just delete these because we only want both channels. Now, so we're going to take brightness and drag it up to the slider right here. And there we go. Okay. Now, we're going to go into this right here. We're just going to add a plus 25 in here to make it, sorry, plus 50. And then we can just make this blue. And maybe add a white one on the other side. I'm gonna add some smoke. So the first thing I want to do to add smoke is turbulent noise. And I'm just going to turn up the contrast, turn down the brightness a bit, turn the evolution on, time times 100. Should constantly be moving. Make the scale more. And then now I'm going to add vector blur, CC vector blur. And I'm going to add direction fading. And this is just going to make it look cool. Like, sort of like smoke, you know. And then I'm also going to make a second one and natural. And scale it up. And there we go. Now we have our smoke. The part that goes on top of the background So I'm thinking that I do some Teo splines because people don't really know how to do those, so they're not very hard. So first, I'm just gonna add the Teo effect. And what we want to do first is just make a path. So get this little tool right here, the pen tool. Go to the middle. Zoom in with your scroll wheel, and you can middle click to move around. Click in the middle. Sorry, click in the middle. And then you're just gonna want to go like that. And let's just get rid of this path right here. And you're gonna see this little thing right here. So, okay. Segment, we're just going to want to repeat Ngon. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Oh, no, sorry, repeat sphere. And we're just going to want to turn the amount of segments down. Path from masks, taper size, and then what you want to do is just start an end path, make them both 100, and then make the start delayed. Alright, now we can change the shader. And can just change these things. I'm gonna make the material like a gray. I'm going to make the second pass, I'm going to make it blue. Like that. And we're just going to duplicate these. And now we have this. And I'm just going to do this again. Like this. And then Teo, and then let's just add echo. Oops, echo. Yep, there we go. Alright, and now I'm just going to add a mask. And to invert this because I want them to fade in. And I forgot that we need to add reflect to all of these, so make sure they all say reflect. And then let's add some particles. So particles should be pretty simple. I'm just gonna add a particular. Open designer. Okay, now I'm gonna keep this pretty simple. I'm gonna go with sphere, right? Outward. And then we're going to make the emitter size bigger, like this. Particles a second, make it like 25 maybe. 10? Alright, life 6. We'll give it double. Alright, sprite. Let's change what this is gonna look like. I think I'll do a plus, why not? And then we'll make it that. Do that one. 0.1. Size like that. Change this to actually sprite fill, sorry. And then 5 particles a second actually, because what I want to do is fill And then fill, this one's gonna be black. Actually no. White. Add some of the shadow. Change your mode to like overlay, and it can just make a little kind of visible effect. I just added a second layer to make them a bit more visible. And then alright, and then we're just going to add some more particles under these. Add some CC Starburst. Add fill. We'll make this white. Make the scatter 700. Size like 50. I'm just adding some shine to these. To these Teo splines. I'll just pre-compose the background. Now I'm going to add time remap. So the way to do this is Control-Alt-T. You're just going to want to make a keyframe for every single marker. Now what you want to do is just click F9. Easy. Now if you have flow, this is really easy because you could just do this and click apply. If you don't have it, you can do this. Make sure you're on value graph. You want to click the button under your escape key. It's like a little squiggle line. And what you want to do is basically just move this up like this, down like this, and you want it to be at like a 45-degree angle like that. Kind of like that. And as you can see now, the background now syncs with the beat, but I like the settings I have for time remap personally, so I'm going to use these settings, which I believe are given to me by Preppy DCI, so shout out to him. And as you can see, it syncs and it's a bit smoother than the one that I showed you. So depending on if you have flow or not, you can pick one of those methods. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some color effects because the colors don't change much in this intro. So I'm just going to add an adjustment layer and add a edge detect. Okay, and we're gonna add a rectangle. And then on this one, gotta do it here. and then just remove. So just adding color effects like this with masks and stuff if you want, or just normal color effects on beats will make your intro more lively. I'm going to add a black solid, and I'm just going to make it and hue/saturation. I'm just going to put this behind the text. I'm just adding an extra zoom effect, no rotation. Okay, this is just gonna go out all the way at the top. And I'm gonna make the second half of the intro yellow. I'm gonna add a TV effect here. Add some warp, fisheye. And there we go. That's probably it for effects. So Alright, I just want to add a flip effect on here during the rotation, and you can just 180 degrees. Alright, the next thing to add is shapes, and I pretty much only make intros with my handy dandy shape pack, link in the description. So I just import the project file of my pack right here to the side, ignore the warning, and I'll just open this up, and then I'm going to go to bursts. Now on the first beat, it starts off normally, so let's just do a normal burst. And the trick is to get it when it's like that on a beat, and then it'll look good. And you don't want to over spam your shapes, so make bursts every other beat at most.
I could have been, I've never got no regret. The hours I've been putting in, so take a chance on faith. Your mind's a boundless place, so take a chance, take a chance, a chance on faith. So take a chance, take a chance on faith. So take a chance, I never want to look back. Take a chance, take a chance on faith. So take a chance, take a chance on faith.
Alright, now you just want to pre-compose all these. And add hue/saturation. And you just want to make the burst the same color as your intro. And add drop shadow. Now, I don't think this intro needs splines because the background is splines, but you can add some in yours if you don't want to use splines in your background, or if you want to do a different kind of background, you can add splines. This is just personal preference. Alright, now it's time for the sync. Now, I do sync differently than some people because I add extra things onto my sync. So first what we're going to do is add a sync. I just search for a sync in my presets, and we have many syncs to choose from that are in my pack that I will be releasing in the description of this video. I'm going to use Fire Ass Sync, aka Flow Sync, depending on the version of my pack that you have. And I'm just going to delete these middle ones and drag this all the way to the end. Now copy this, close it, and go down to the bottom. And what you want to do is just copy and paste this for every single keyframe, or sorry, marker. Scroll back up, click U to open. And what we're just going to do, zoom in and move it to the middle one so it's actually on beat. And then if we play it, we have a sync. Now what I do that a lot of people don't is on major beats I actually add an extra shake preset. So I am adding this to this version of my pack, so you're in luck. So I'm just going to make a little layer for this, and I'm going to add it. Now this is from a Fortnite montage pack, so bear with me, I need to find it. Heavy beat shake, this is what I use for major beats on my intros. And it just adds a more aggressive shake to parts on my intro. And I think it looks nice, so as you can see. Now I usually add this on every other couple beats. So this one's major. Now that the sync is done, I'm just going to do another really quick part, and that is CC. Probably my worst part, like my biggest weakness of my intros, because I know my CC isn't great, but I still use it anyways. So anyways, I'm just going to use my V2 CC, which is also in my pack, on all versions, I'm pretty sure. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn off some of these things, because I don't need them immediately, and if I might not need them at all. So first I'm just gonna CC, change the diffusion to be blue, go to the flare, also make this kind of blue, turn off this because we don't need that. Okay, highlight, we're just gonna make this both blue because it's one color. S-curve, not to be like that. Okay, we don't need that. This could be helpful if you want to make your intro a specific color. Yeah, I think this is good. Now, it's time for transitions. So let's just pre-compose this and move like to here. S wipe circle, and we'll just 100, go in, this 0, speed graph, and let me just cut this off because we don't need that. And then on the end is a zoom in transition, so we can just cut this off as well. And then here I'm just going to recompose this, go to, make sure to put this on here. Okay, I'm gonna go to the first beat, 150, okay. I'm just gonna CC jaws. And then height 0, completion 20. Oh wait, hold on. $85. This is 100. There we go. Okay. Now we got it. Alright, and then the end frame. And then we're just going to add a red screen. because we need actually a way to key this. Now, if this color is in the intro and you're in your editing software trying to get rid of the color and it's like phasing into your background footage, what you can do is actually split the layer and then delete the keying thing in the middle so it doesn't add chroma key to the whole intro. Okay. Now I'm going to also pre-compose this and just add RSMB Pro and make this 180. Okay, now I'm done with my intro. Now I'm ready to render, so we're gonna go to File, Export, Add to Render Queue. You're gonna want to change this to After Codecs MOV if you have this. If not, just keep it on H.264. And then what we want to do here is take the speed and make it all the way up. Or actually, you can do MP4 too, but I prefer MOV. And then just press OK. And then you pick where you want it to go. And then just click Render. And that's it for here. So I'll see you next time. Bye.